Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Logan Kelly. I am a professor of economics at the University of Wisconsin River Falls, and this is a course in analytics for business and economics. And to give you just a brief description what that is, we're going to take and use statistical tools as well as understand some of the not just the theory but the actual software tools that we use to take data and turn it into something that we can use to make decisions with. So in some sense, it's very much a second semester statistics course, but it tries to go beyond that to give you real application to business and economic circumstances. So without any further ado, what I'm going to do in this video is give you a brief tour of the online course site and give you a little bit of what to expect over the coming weeks as we go through this course. So when you come into the course, you're going to see through the Canvas LMS, you're going to see the following. The first thing that you really need to have gone through, I sent an email about this a week or so ago, talking about what needs to happen before you get to class. And really, I don't want to go through the welcome to class page here. The content in this page right here where it says welcome to class, you received an email. It's also here. The syllabus is also here. I'd like you to go through and read all of that. That's really important that you understand what's going on. But that's there, and I'm not going to recap that here because, well, it gets a little boring. And so I want to go just plug ahead a little bit and say, make sure you review all of this, all the information that you need to get ready for class, which is starting tomorrow, Monday, July 3rd. Will be right there. The next thing I want you to do is if you haven't registered for a free RStudio Cloud, or in fact what this should be called and should be changed as a free Posit Cloud because they changed their name from RStudio Cloud to Posit Cloud account. Same thing. All right, here's the link to do that. In fact, if you come down here to the first module, the very first lecture gives you a walkthrough of doing just exactly that. All right, so the next thing I need you to do is come in and join the class work group. And in fact, that same said lecture that I just showed you down in the first module will walk you through how to do that. Here's the link to do so. Make sure you get that done before we get very far along. The next thing you need to do is you need to make sure you have Zoom on your computer and it needs to be up to date. There are specific settings, particularly if you're using a Mac, to be able to share your screen. This is really important. One of the most important things about this class is while it is asynchronous, I will record videos and the lectures and all the content will be available on demand for you. It's still, you're probably going to want to meet with me. And in meeting with me, what you want to do is you can schedule meetings and I will meet with you, and that's great because there's a lot of times you just need a little bit of advice. You just need a little bit of help. There's things I can do and tell you that'll help you figure out the problem in 30 seconds, where if you had to do it all on your own, might take all day. And we just don't want that. So I want you to meet with me one-on-one, but for me able to help you, you're going to have to be able to share your screen with me through Zoom. So you have to have all of these settings set up. And there's just more information here about doing that. And hey, we're ready to go. So make sure you've gone all through this and completed all of these things. You'll notice a couple things over here on the side that we have certain things that are already due. Like, for example, the very first case study, okay, our very first homework assignment, join the Posit Cloud workspace. All right, that's worth 5 points. Just getting into the workspace on time by July 7th is going to get you 5 points in the class. This is awesome, right? Okay. So make sure you've gotten this done. All right, next thing, let's go down just a little bit farther. We'll talk about the textbook. There's a textbook. I like the textbook. It's entirely what's called an open educational resource, so it's free. You can get web access to the textbook here. You can download a PDF of the textbook here. You can even purchase a printed copy of the book if you want to. Though I don't understand why anybody would want to purchase a copy of the book, because you don't need to purchase a copy of the book because everything is integrated directly into Canvas. So for example, I come down here to the first module. The first reading is right there. You click on that, it's going to take you right straight to the first reading. You read through it and poof, you're done. So there's really no reason to buy anything, right? It's all going to be available to you through the course website. Remember, if you get to a point where somebody's asking you for money for this class, come talk to me because I think you've gone down a wrong road. I have no intention of it costing you anything, right? So you've already paid your tuition, everything's there. So good job. In any event, let's look at Module 1 because Module 1 is going to give you an idea of how I set up the class and how it's structured. Each one of these links, you can see it makes kind of an outline, and that's on purpose. You can think of them like, say, a slide in a slideshow. So if I just click into here, all right, that will bring up the introduction to part 1. All right, so this is introduction to Module 1, part 1. And read through that, says a little bit, gives you an idea of what's going on in the introduction. Each module starts with this really cool graphic. I know, aren't I special? Oh, yeah, right. I know. I'm not an art major, nor am I a graphic designer, but I tried. In any event, and you'll know that's the beginning of a module. And you can just come down here and click next and go to the next, essentially go to the next slide in the class. This is going to give you an introduction to what we're going to do in part A of Module 1. Okay, just real brief, lets you know what each one of the individual sections is going to do. Then we can keep going. Just step forward. We're just hitting next. And you can hit next all the way until you'll get a little slide that says the end, and you'll know you're at the end of Module 1. All right, Introduction to R Cloud. So this is the first section, so this is going to be the first lecture or first bit of reading. Here's a real chunk of materials. Tells you specifically what's going on here. We can come down here and hit next again. And here's the reading. Okay, and if you don't like this table of contents on the side, just hit this little hamburger menu on the side there and it goes away. And hey, there you are. You can also click up here on this title bar and it'll bring it up in its own web page. Okay, and then here's the materials talking about RStudio. Okay, so this is the first reading. Then you go to the next slide. In the next slide, you'll have the lecture. So I have a YouTube video right here. This is the lecture that we're going through that actually explains how to get set up in Posit Cloud and get into all the stuff you need to do to get ready for class, and gives you a little tour of the software. It can be a little intimidating at first, but I guarantee you'll understand enough of it to at least not be intimidated by it and be able to do a little bit of analysis in there. And what's more, you'll have enough knowledge of R by the end of this class that should you decide to develop expertise, you're well on the way to getting that done. All right, so the next thing is down here, I also have embedded the actual lecture notes that I'm using for the class, for the lecture. So I'm going to lecture right off of these notes in the video. And if you want a printer-friendly version, you click right here and it'll take you to a printer-friendly version. And if you're a real nerd like me, you can even click on here and download the source code that made these lecture notes. All right, probably more on that closer to the end of class than the beginning of class, but there you go. That's what a lecture is going to look like. You can also, this lecture is hosted in YouTube, so you can go click on watch on YouTube and make it big and full screen and do whatever you want to there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, scroll down here to the bottom, and we're going to hit next again. And that'll take us to either an assignment, a practice, or a task. All right, the things that are graded are assignments, so cases, and tasks and wrap-ups. So the task is really simple. It's going to basically ask you a question. Were you able to sign up for RStudio Cloud? Yes, no. If you hit yes, great! You get 5 points if you do it on time. All right, I don't have due dates on things like case studies. All right, those you can do throughout the class and get them done. You can even resubmit if you need to. But the tasks you have to do on time or you lose the points. See how I go there? I dock points for being late because you didn't get the task done. And you have to do everything in the modules in order. All right, it won't let you go out of order. You have to do each one individually. So you can go through and put it here. I said yes, so that's great. Gives you a little message saying, hey, feel good about yourself. If you put no, it's going to tell you, hey, make an appointment with me and I'll help you get through it. Okay. either way, you get the points, right? So it's not like there's a right answer. Just tell me whether you got there, yes or no, and it gives me an indication of whether or not you're making it okay or not. All right, that's what these tasks are for. At the very end of the module, there'll be something very similar to this called a wrap up, and that wrap up is also um, basically a survey telling me how you feeling about the class. Are you doing okay? Was this module? Did you understand this module? Okay. The tasks and the wrap ups must be done by specific dates, or you don't get credit for them. All right. That's how I control the pacing of the class. I want you to work kind of with us. So in the first week, we're going to do module 1, part 1. Second week, module 1, part 2. Third week, module 2, and so on and so forth throughout the course. And that's how the due dates are set up. Okay. I'm going to click next because I've already taken this thing here. Then we get into section 2 and it repeats. So here's an introduction to what we're talking about, something called R Markdown. You can read about that to get an overview of what we're talking about. And then, there's the reading, right? And so on and so forth. The idea is to make this course as a straight line through the material as I possibly can. If you get confused at any time, you've got a couple of options. So let's come over here and look at those options. If I look at my menu here, that is the navigation menu, you notice mine looks a little different maybe than other Canvas courses you've seen on the UWRF campus. First of all, I've got home. That's always going to be there. But second, I've got Posit Cloud. What does that do? Well, if I click on that, and I'm just make it open in a new tab, come over here, it makes you click a button, which is annoying, but oh well. It takes you to your Posit Cloud. This is my Posit Cloud, and you can get in here and do cases and whatnot. And I give a full, this may look a little intimidating, that's okay. I give a full explanation and tour of this in the next lecture, actually the first lecture of the class. Okay. The next thing that's on here is grades. That's self-explanatory. But there's two more on here. The first one is Meet with Dr. Kelly. If you click on this, what this is going to do is it's going to take you, all right, right here to a scheduling app. And you can pick a date. Say, oh, I don't get this. I'm gonna pick a date on the 7th. I want to meet with Dr. Kelly at 10 a.m. I'm gonna hit next. I'm gonna put my name in here. I am, oh, I don't know. Who should I be? I'll be Biff Tanner. And if you know who that is, you're probably showing your age. That's okay. And I'm gonna put my own email in here. And then you need to tell me what class. I teach a few classes. So which class is it? So your class is going to be analytics, Econ 326. And then what's really helpful is two things down here. Number one, give me some information that you want. And two, it is helpful for me if you give a text message, if you give a number. The number will send you a reminder, a text message reminder. It'll also give me your number just in case I need to get a hold of you in a way that isn't going to work through email. I very rarely will call you, but if I had an emergency and had to postpone our meeting 5 minutes before, I might try to send you a text message to tell you that. All right, in any event, this is totally optional though, it's not required. And telling me something about what's going on. Our studio on case 2 decided to snarl up and I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, that's perfect. Something like that. And you can make a meeting with me and we will meet via Zoom. You will get an email after you do this. I'm pretty much instantly after submitting this request, telling you, giving the information on how to meet, right? What the link to the Zoom meeting will be and all that good stuff, right? Well, that's fine, but sometimes it goes to your junk mail. If you don't get the email right afterwards, look in your junk folder and then, mark it as not junk. Also, if you can't find it there, make sure you send me an email so that I can figure out why you're not getting the message, because obviously you can't come to a meeting if you don't know where it is. The next option you have is right here. Click Message Dr. Kelly. If you click on that, all right, we're going to see what it does. Yeah, you have to push a new button. I know that's annoying, but there's lots of things annoying about Canvas. All right, basically this is going to let you message me in Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is one of the easiest ways to message me. I have the app right on my phone. It bings me and says, hey, I've got a student who needs something. And that's really one of the best ways to do it. If you click on that thing, it's going to go right straight to messaging me. Okay, so easy peasy. The other thing you can do is send me an email, and I get emails all the time as well. Okay, so that pretty much is my tour of the course and all the important information. I want to give you 2 tips to getting through this course without a lot of pain, right? Staying sane as you get through the course and doing it very, very successfully. If you do these 2 tips exactly the way I tell you, all right, you will get the grade you want to get. Okay? If that's an A, you can get an A. If that's a B, you can get a B. All right? And maybe a little better than the grade you want to get. All right? All right, so these are important pieces of advice. Number 1, don't cram. Don't wait until 3 weeks into the course to start. All right? First of all, there's an attendance policy. And if you're waiting 3 weeks into the course, I'm probably going to start taking action to remove you from the course. All right, because you're not attending. It's important that you attend the course. You're also going to lose points. All right, and what does attendance mean? It means you interact with the website or me or submit an assignment or just anything to be in the course doing something about statistics at least 3 times a week. That's really, really important because if you're doing it a little bit at a time, you don't get overwhelmed. Module 1 is a lot to do in an hour. It's not too bad to do in a week. All right. Module 1 Part 2 is even more to do in an hour, but it's not too bad to do in a week. All right. So take the week and do a little bit at a time. Please don't try to do it all at once. And please don't wait until the last minute and try to do everything at once and expect to get through it. It's just not going to work. All right, so do a little bit at a time. Number 2, when you have troubles, and you probably will, all right, some of this stuff is just frustrating to learn. I don't know what to do about it. It is. All right, it was frustrating for me. It was frustrating for my professors. It's just there's certain things that are just frustrating. All right, there's a few hyper geniuses that come along once every 2 or 3 generations that, this is all easy, no problem. All right, for the rest of us mere mortals, you're going to need some help from time to time. Don't spin your wheels for too long. Give it the good college try. Give it your best effort, a reasonable effort. You know what that is. I don't have to spell it out for you. And before you say, but what is that? You know what it is. If you've given it a reasonable effort and you still can't come to a solution, meet with me. I will help you. All right? That leads to a corollary to that piece of advice. Please don't Google it. All right? You get in there and we're doing something with, I don't know, analysis of variance. That's module 3. And you want to know how to do this in R, and you start Googling it and you realize R gives you about 5 different ways to do it, and you're not sure which is the right one, and this is confusing, that's confusing, and yeah, just don't worry about it. All right, don't Google it to start with. Come talk to me. All right, when you're ready to say, okay, how do I do this, and you're going to type it into a Google search, just click Meet with Dr. Kelly and come up with your questions. And I will make one more advice about meeting with me. Do your best to really think through your question. I have found in my life that a lot of times when I just sit and write down a well-worded and well-thought-out question, I end up answering it as I do that. So make sure you do that. That's part of the best effort to kind of know what you want to know. But please don't spin your wheels. I can help you a lot of times. I can make something take 2 minutes that might take you 30. In that being said, welcome to class. I'm looking forward to going through this material with you. Please meet with me if you need to. Send me a message if you need to. You can also send me a message through Canvas. I will do my best to check that, but I have a lot of different ways communication comes to me, so I try to limit it a little bit so that I actually know a little bit of what I'm doing and can keep up with it. All right. Remember that you need to be joined to get the points. You have to join the RStudio Cloud or the Posit Cloud workspace by July 7th. And you have tasks 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the wrap up are all due by the 7th. So you need to be through or done with module part 1, all right, by the 7th. Okay? And with that, I'm going to let you have at it. See you later, guys.